Well, good morning, everyone. Don Cramer with the Cramer Group at Urban Nest Realty. Welcome to today's Coffee with Cramer. Cheers to you out there today. Got a little mug here full of a little Pete's Dark Roast. What have you got going in your breakfast beverage today? Is it coffee, tea, a little OJ? Hopefully, you're not starting the weekend already, but if you are, cheers to you. We've got a great guest today joining us over the interwebs is Mr. Brad Murray with Action Coach. Brad, cheers to you. Welcome to today's show.
Cheers as well. Go Bills!
Go Bills. What's in the mug today?
We have some green tea in the mug today.
Nice. Keeping you balanced, keeping you in a little bit state of zen.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Brad is a business coach consultant with a company called Action Coach. They're a large international firm that provides coaching services to entrepreneurs and businesses of all shapes and sizes. And it was interesting this morning previewing today's show, kind of talking about it online. Great longtime friend of mine out in Austin, Texas, even noted that he had recently signed up with Action Coach. So I'm excited to have Brad here today. We're going to talk about businesses and why coaching for businesses is important, how that's become an important piece going forward in our land and industries of disruption. So, Brad, welcome to today. And just a little bit about Brad. You know, he lives here in Las Vegas. And prior to, he had spent some time in the securities industries here in the United States, providing training and consultation and such. Additionally, over time, Brad has raised his family, and I think coaching started naturally there as bringing the kids up with basketball, baseball, and probably any other sport of the moment, keeping him
Yes,
busy.
that's
And so Brad
for
is
sure.
also president of one of the Little League associations here. So Brad, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Don. Appreciate you.
So let's get started. So we've met recently, through our business networking. We do a lot of networking together uh, for business growth and development. And let's kind of talk. Give me the 411 of Brad Murray. How we got to today where you're with Action Coach.
Great question, Don. So I spent I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I got into the security industry when I was about 19, 20 years old. It was great for me for a very long time. Security guards, monitoring, that kind of thing. Over time, over the last probably couple years, I just kind of lost my passion for that industry. Just it beat me up a little bit, and I needed a change. I needed to go in a different direction. I always enjoyed helping people and mentoring others. One day I was on LinkedIn, just kind of scrolling, looking for new opportunities, and someone liked or reposted an Action Coach post, and I didn't even know what Action Coach was. Had absolutely no idea. Started researching it, started digging into the company, and just loving it. Started meeting with some of the members, other coaches, and corporate executives and whatnot, and I just fell in love with the idea. I knew what consulting was, but I never knew that there was this niche that was business coaching. And I dove in. Action Coach has one of the most intensive training programs in the world. I went through that in October. 10 straight days of 12 to 14 hour days. I mean, this company really kind of prepares you for what you're going to do and how you're going to help businesses. So yeah, just kind of quick. Security industry beat me up. I needed a change, and Action Coach. I found them. They found me. However you want to look at it, and yeah, I love it. There's nothing better than working with clients and helping them reach their goals.
Excellent, excellent. And so, like you said, kind of part of the journey of teaching people, helping people out, things of that nature. Sort of sounds like rekindled the fire with you for your next career. I know myself, I like to call this career 2.5 and maybe even career 3.0. And while I say to myself now and again, why didn't I get started? You and I were just sort of sharing stories back and forth, saying, well, maybe it was worth the journey because those skill sets and things along the way uh, culminated in where we're at.
No question. I mean, for me, as again as before we were talking, excuse me. Yeah, I'm a little league coach, so never in my wildest dreams did I think there was going to be such a strong connection. I mean, coaching a 7-year-old is obviously different than coaching a 37-year-old or a 47-year-old, but there's parallels there. There's things that work in both cases. Um, and this day and age, if you don't have a passion for doing something, it's just very difficult to get going. And one thing coaches do is they help rekindle that fire, like you said, and get people to the next level. I would offer to anybody out there, you know if you don't have like a why, if you don't know why you get up in the morning, or why you're doing this thing called life, you got to discover that. You have to figure out what you're doing here. And all kidding aside, one of the portions of action coach training is big on mindset. It gets you to understand how important it is to have that positive mindset. If you wake up in a bad mood, you're not going to have a good day. You're just not. So it's critical to make sure that you have passion, and you have a why to know what you're doing every day.
Absolutely. When I was, just sort of my little background when I started out to figure out what I was going to do. You're speaking with friends, speaking with mentors, things of that nature, colleagues, clients, like, or past clients, like, hey, what's out there, what's good, what's in your arsenal, what do you have to brush up on, and when real estate was locked in, because I, just long time Valley resident, a lot of people in construction, you know, we I kind of understood a little bit, but my why has certainly changed quite a bit because I've learned more. And I also learned about 6, 8 months into this, I needed more to it. It was like when I was trying to be a professional golfer, I couldn't do it on my own. Even though now today, probably later on in life, having more resources, which is great, and that probably, and then coaching, coaching is not for the faint of heart. Um, so tell me a little bit about who's that person? When did when do you see them when you engage with them from coaching standpoint? Is it a certain type of situation or is it broader than that? How does that how does that engagement begin?
Yeah, that's great. Great question, Don. What happens is, I hate to giggle like that, but there are people that are very very good at a craft. Maybe it's welding, maybe it's repossession, maybe it's HVAC. All those businesses that people might have the skill to do, and they have the desire to run their own business, and then they do it right. They get some funding. They're all excited. They're ready to go. They're ready to make this thing work. The trouble is that many of them, and when I say many, geez, probably like 70 to 75%, truly have no idea what a balance sheet is. They don't know how to read a P&L, cash flow statements. Like they just have no idea what they're doing, and it's not their fault. They just don't know. So that's our sweet spot. I mean, we can help anybody from a startup to a Fortune 500 company, but really, truthfully, our sweet spot are small businesses with owners who are very good at the thing that they do, but very bad. I shouldn't even say bad. Um, just unaware of the components of business. And one of our first things that we do with nearly every client is it's called the mastery level. We got to get people to just understand the basics of business, and then you can kind of build off that. I've been blown away at the number of just people there are like that. You see a company, you see a business, you see their storefront or whatever, and you think, oh, they have it together. It looks good, but behind the scenes there's a lot going on. They're probably working 80, 90 hours a week. They're just banging their head against the wall. So that's kind of our sweet spot, is those folks who just don't know what to do, but they know how to do the thing that they do.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, so you're taking somebody that's got probably a skill set in their craft. They know how to do that thing that they do. It's just okay now. Now, what are the components that you need to scale, grow, cash flow, and ultimately where they want to be? when you engage with these people, do they have sort of any sense of where they want to be or what they want to do, or is that something that you evolve over time?
Wow, we did not prep this at all, but that's an excellent question. What it is we call it a diagnostic, but really it's a strategy session, and part of that excuse me, part of that strategy session is exactly what you said. It's digging deep really into their personal goals, their business goals. We really want to know what these people want to do. You might have a strategy session with someone who says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be in this business for life. This is my thing. I'm never selling it. I love it. I'm gonna give it to my kids or whatever." Or you might have a client who says, "I'm doing this for 5 years and then I'm doing a new thing." So very early on in the process, in fact, those diagnostics are complementary. We want to figure out what's going on before we offer anything. So by doing that, we really, really learn about them. I mean, not to get too deep, but there's times where we're sitting with, husband and wife who've been in business for 10 or 15 years. And you start talking to these people and getting them to really kind of share some things about their business and even their personal life. And it sounds a little bit hokey sometimes, but I got to tell you, when you get those emotions, when you get people to you know, feel that, what their goals are, what their personal goals. I mean, it's not uncommon to have people crying in our strategy sessions. I'm not even kidding. So that's kind of where the magic is. We really find out what makes these people tick, and then we can actually design a program for them to help them succeed.
And it's probably also sometimes how far do they really want to go?
Absolutely, there's no question about it.
and
Um,
and it's been an interesting journey on a lot of those. I'm sure that those some people probably just have never seen how far they really could go.
yeah, you nailed it. One big thing that we do at Action Coach is we have like vision boards and stuff. Again, I'll be the first to say I looked at that stuff in a negative way in my early career.
Kind of
Oh,
hokey.
whatever. Oh, your vision board, whatever. But it's real. I'll be the first to admit I completely changed my mindset on that. And what you just said, Don, is so true. People don't even know where they're going or what they really want until you really start asking them,
Hmm.
hey, when's the last time you took a vacation? Oh, a couple years ago. I'm so busy. And then you start like helping them and explaining what could be, and they really start getting excited about it. No one really wants to work 80 hours a week, right? I mean, you do it when you have to, but as a business owner, our definition of business at Action Coach is a profitable commercial enterprise that works without you, right? You want to be able to be on the beach with a cocktail while your business is running. You don't want to be chasing people around all day. So that's really what we get at with these guys is we find out what makes them tick, find out what they really want and need, and we design ways to make it happen.
That's awesome. So Brad, let's talk about this a little bit. Can we get a little closer down to the how this works? So you all do a deep dive. It sounds like a diagnostic. You figure this out. I take it they then pair up with a coach in some way, shape, or form, or you engage with a consulting. Is your program how often do they meet with you? How does that work? What's beyond? How does that interaction take place?
Yep, it's a little bit of a long-winded answer, so I'll try to keep it brief. Because what you said is a natural thought process. As I said earlier, we've got startups as well as Fortune 500 companies, all over the place internationally. So we've got one-on-one coaching that might be designed for a CEO who he or she is just ready. They want to just take this thing to the next level. In a one-on-one coaching situation, we're meeting weekly. We're handing out homework. We're really pushing these folks to really get to the next level, and that would be like that end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum, maybe someone's just starting a business and they again might be great at their craft, but they have no idea how business works. We have a program called Book Club. Sounds kind of weird. we think of book club as a bunch of ladies sitting around a table, drinking some wine. But I assure you, it's not that. You start introducing books to people who've never read these things before, and you start being able to have dialogue about what's in the book, and the light bulbs just keep just popping off in their head. So you might have like a 23-year-old fresh out of school who wants to do something, and you get them in book club, and then once they're kind of like in our program, then their business starts going, and then we can start doing like team training for all of their employees. So to kind of give you like a broad brush, there isn't a client that we couldn't help. There isn't a business out there that we couldn't help in some way, from the very beginning all the way to having 2,000, 5,000 employees.
So it sounds like you have the ability to scale based on the type of business size, class, industry, things of that nature, and also to provide maybe different varying resources for those that are sort of maybe in a more startup mode, trying to establish some mindsets, things of that nature. Uh, and also too, just for those out there today, whether you are viewing us live or even later, you can see Brad's links in the description sections of the video. Also too, feel free to comment down below in the YouTube video. That way we can get those questions out to Brad if you have anything more about his services and also Action Coach as well. So I want to make sure we hit that as well. And if you like this video, hit the subscribe button to be updated. Now, I love your segue into books, because when we are in these types of groups, and I look at this beyond business. I look at this as coaching in general. Even if you're in sports, I mean, I came from the golf industry, came from the golf business. You know, for us, it was Ben Hogan, Five Fundamentals. This was 30 plus years ago. And then all the great teachers over time, or stuff like from Tiger Woods or things of that nature. Brad, you spoke to me about Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's on the short list of, okay, any business entrepreneur probably better have that on the shelf.
For sure.
What are your one or two go-tos?
Book wise?
Yeah. That you feel strongly about right now.
I mean that one. I mean, you already said it. That one's huge for me. Some of them are a little older, but Seven Habits, I still love. Yep. I still love that book. One that I hadn't read until recently, which blew my mind, was I'm forgetting the first part of the title. Not Dueling with the Devil, but by Napoleon Hill. I can't think of the title. That's embarrassing.
Think and Grow Rich.
Well, same author.
Yeah.
That's a great one too. But he wrote another one in like the 30s, called it's not Dueling with the Devil. Oh my goodness, I can't think of it. But
we'll bring up the little YouTubes here.
There you go.
The interwebs.
It's basically an interview with the devil, and it was scrapped back in the 30s. It wouldn't get published.
Outwitting the Devil.
Outwitting the Devil. There you go. Literally read it like 3 weeks ago, so it's embarrassing that I forgot the title. But no, that's huge. It's a good one. Some other stuff. I'm big on Team. Brian Tracy on Team. Anything by him is solid. Even like autobiographies or that type of thing. Like, I'm a big Teddy Roosevelt fan, Abe Lincoln. Huge. I'm a huge history person in general, so I think learning from the past is critical.
Yeah.
I think we see that a lot of times these days, that we appear to not be learning from the past.
Past is prologue.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, Dale Carnegie, Brian Tracy, Napoleon Hill. I mean, Simon Sinek. Geez, I mean, how could you leave out Simon Sinek? The Why guy. I mean, that stuff. Again, 10 years ago, I did not have a positive mindset for. I mean, not all of that stuff. I mean, I read Dale Carnegie when I was like 18 or 19 years old. Sure. But some of the mindset stuff and the why and the vision and stuff, I was always like, whatever. You either know what you're doing or you don't. But that's not true. When you start really being honest with yourself, you really learn a lot about yourself, and you can design real goals and objectives to meet that vision.
Absolutely, and there's one I harken back to again. I think like you probably, we relate to sports. It's a little sad he had to announce, he's probably not going to play the tour full time anymore because of the accident. Tiger
I
Woods,
saw
they
that.
said when he was a junior in his bedroom, when we were teenagers, whether it was your fancy car or something of that nature, maybe favorite ball player, he had every one of Jack Nicklaus's wins on the wall. That was his vision board,
Yep, absolutely.
and that's at 13. And
Yep.
yeah, so
And you hear that all the time, Don. I mean, it's like, I mean, I'm a like you. And I didn't know you were that into sports, so that's kind of fun. I learned that from you. Um, there is so much power in sports. I mean, we all know that, but you just think of all the greats. God, I forget what the book. Um, I forgot what book I read, but it was about excellence, and it had 5 or 6 athletes, and it was what they did. The Michael Jordan story, of course, is in there.
mhm.
Um, you know, the Wayne Gretzky stuff is in there. It's just it's amazing. You see them be great on television, right? And you just sort of assume, oh, they're blessed. They just they have those things. They are blessed,
Yes,
but those are also the guys that are first one in the gym, last one out. Constantly working on their craft, and that's really the difference. That's truly the difference, and that coaching world for sports exists in business as well. The more you put in, the more you get out of it. It's just so true.
and you see that too. I mean, especially with athletes moving into business. Um, like you said, Gretzky. You look at Jordan. You look at Elway. You look at Tiger Woods. You look at Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, uh, Nolan Ryan, and all these people carried on with very successful business careers.
100%.
And even Larry Bird. I mean, you just go, okay. They had these mindsets, they had these beliefs and abilities that were core to their success as athletes. That became core, but they had to hone that. I mean, they had to have the fire inside, but they also, they had some help along the way.
No doubt about it. We sort of forget that you have mentors throughout your career,
Yes.
whether you're 20 or 50. People are always. One of my favorite speeches is by Admiral McCraven, the admiral that was who did the man. I'm stumbling.
The special forces.
Osama bin Laden raid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that speech he did in Tennessee, I think it was like 2013 or 2017 or whatever, was just amazing. And those are kinds of things he touches on. It's just that I tell my kid every day. Remember Admiral? Remember that speech we watched? He said, make the first thing you gotta do every day is make your bed. I mean that stuff is just magic. And if you really get people to kind of live by that stuff, it really changes you. It really kind of shows you what you can do when you have that positive mindset. Um, it just
So how do people get to the point where they said, okay, we need somebody we need that coach. We need that help. Where are they at, or what is that river that they cross? Because a lot of people, even like myself, I was approached for coaching when first several months I was in the industry, and hey, I'm good. A little bit. A lot of times we use the excuses of we use the reasonings of cost, economics,
time.
value, time. But when I finally broached it and committed, I'm in my 4th year in my program, and I'm all in for a whole variety of reasons.
Right.
What's that Rubicon that the entrepreneur or business person has to cross?
Good one. Sometimes it's obvious, right? Sometimes it's a slow failing situation, right? The revenue's down, profits are down, and it just it's kind of like cascading, downward. That's an easy one because that's when they're looking. for something. They clearly need some help. So that's when it's a little easier when they have some real pain. The next kind of layer, if you will, is a business that's doing well. Maybe like a small retail store or something. It's doing well, and they're generally happy. And then you meet with them and you start realizing that they really want 10 or 15 stores, and they want to go into different states, or they want to do this and other thing. Um, so and they truly have no idea to do how to do that, right? They've done okay, running their little storefront or whatnot. All of a sudden, they've got these aspirations for massive growth. That's when we kind of can come in and show them how to do that. The steps to take in order to make that happen. At like the higher level, at like the large corporations and Fortune 500 companies stuff, a lot of times there our magic is in team stuff, team building. It's a very common miss. We all hear about, oh, let's do team building exercise and let's do this and everything, which are all great and they all work. But if you don't have a strong team internal, the day-to-day operation, you're going to have some pain there. And that's one of those things where when you're a massive organization, having a I don't want to say poor team, but having some team problems aren't going to like manifest right away. That's going to be one of those slow moving things, one of the slow moving storm that hits down the line. So that's kind of our niche with larger corporations, is we work on the team aspect of their business. But just kind of in general, a lot of times it's us kind of like educating them and showing them what the pain points are. A lot of times these business owners, they're so caught up in the day to day that their mind is so full of like payroll and chasing and the next sale or whatever, that they can't really see the forest through the trees type of thing.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, that's kind of what works.
So we hear a few different terms. I'm sure you have as well. We hear the terms of like abundance and scarcity mindsets.
Yep.
We also look at mindsets of going, what is, what do you do in your business, and how much, do you value that at versus, okay, the other things, like you said, chasing accounting or other things that you go, okay, are you doing what you should be doing? We call, we look at everything we do and say, okay, well, should that task be done by somebody making this number of dollars an hour versus those number of dollars an hour, and what's the best use of your time and money?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of our. I mean, good segue for me. I mean, one of our big things is time management, right? I mean, it's so funny how these phrases get used, and we all sort of shrug and say, "Oh yeah, whatever." I mean,
Whatever.
yeah, it's fine. You'll do it eventually. We put all of our coaches on, our owners from Australia. So the word diary is used as like scheduling. So everyone's on diaries, and again, I was thinking there is no way I'm ever going to commit to like a 30-minute, increment of a diary. But magically, when you do that, you don't realize it, but you have more time, right? Once you kind of have that discipline and you really kind of focus up on what you're doing and your team as well, you nailed it. If the owner is running to the mailbox every day to get mail, that might be a time waster. Maybe someone else could do that. So it's recognizing those flaws that you have built into your systems, and then creating new systems in order to make everything kind of work better. You nailed it. The time management thing. Our one of the things we teach is you want to be in the zone, and our zone is not urgent but important.
Yeah.
And when we do seminars and stuff, we have a cool slide that has a guy like clearly stressed out, like you're looking at his computer, just like, oh, how am I going to make payroll or whatever.
Right.
That guy's he's in the demand stage, and he's got a lot going on. And then we show another picture of a guy with his family on the beach. That's super important, but not urgent at all. He's just living. He or she's just living.
Sure.
So yeah, that time management piece is huge.
No, absolutely, and it's even for me today with all the technology and things of that nature. It's always a challenge. Um,
It is.
then the one thing is, and this comes up with coaching or even training, because I'm probably I'm trying to get back to the gym, get back in shape. Lose. I love food, so trying
Hey,
to keep a little counterweight there.
I feel
Uh,
you there. I feel you there, Don.
so I'm gonna probably need some coaching and motivation there. But and when we kind of we you talk about the why, but I'm also probably at a point in life, and some of your people may be at a point in life where they go, yeah, I just don't want to go there. I just you know because
Yeah.
we talk about accountability, we talk about pushing and things of that nature. What do we you know I know we hit these stumbling blocks because I do too, both in life and professionally, and I'm sure you run into those.
No doubt.
How do you how what could be an example of how do you break through that wall, or is that a wall
You
can't be
know,
broken through?
yeah. Sometimes it can't. And I sort of already teased it, but excuse me. Um, it's it's truly in that, not maybe not the first meeting, but when we actually sit down in that strategy session, or diagnostic, whatever you want to call it, we find that when you really get to them on a personal level, when you really start to understand about them, and what they're really into, it makes for a, I don't want to say easy because nothing's easy, but it makes for like a much smoother transition into coaching, because they really start to feel what the magic could be. They start thinking, oh geez, if I wasn't here, from 7 to 7 every day, like what sort of life could I have outside of this business? And so if you do it right and you really kind of educate them and show them and guide them, you there isn't a lot of pushback. There's really not. If you go into a meeting and you're like, hey, we have like 6 products that would help you. Here they are. Which one do you want? You're not you're not helping anybody.
Right.
You're not helping yourself, certainly. You've got to be able to kind of have them feel the power of coaching.
Yes.
And if they feel the power of coaching, they take the next step, and they jump in. To your point, though, I mean, there's some stubborn people out there that are like, nope, I know everything. I don't need help. Those take a little longer to turn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think and it's one of those. We even say, one of the things we do too, and you probably say, sometimes you can't change motivation, but you can be there ready when they become motivated.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, Brent, how do people? Okay, they want to get started. They want this. How do we make the introduction, or how does that engagement begin?
What we find the easiest way is, and this is just kind of because it's a group dynamic. It's actually kind of like a networking event. Not every month, but pretty much every month, I do a complimentary seminar. The location changes. The one in December is right at Sahara and 15 for centrally located situation. And we bring folks in, business owners or directors or C-suite level folks. Bring them in for a seminar. It's like 90 minutes. We have some coffee and cookies and donuts and type thing, and just kind of like learn what Action Coach is all about, what we can actually do for you. The same situation can be in like a one-on-one meeting as well, but it's kind of fun to do in like a networking atmosphere because people get to network as well as get some education. So our seminars is a great launching point to learn about Action Coach. I also obviously have a shared calendar. If anyone was just dying to meet with me like tomorrow, I've got a HubSpot calendar that I use. So whether it's a seminar or a one-on-one meeting, both work. The messaging works well in both cases. I like the seminars. I like being in front of people. I like learning from others, so that works for me. Other coaches have some luck just attending networking events and meeting people that way. But I love the educational side of this. I think that's really where the magic is. It's making people aware of things that they might not even have thought of before. It's funny when you just mention something like real time management. Not pretend time management. You see people in the room kind of like they're almost embarrassed because they know what they're doing from 7 a.m. till 8 a.m. They're on their phone, doing things that have nothing to do with helping their business succeed. I mean, we're all guilty of that, I'm sure. But when you really start, making people recognize that, you can just see, they start taking notes and they're writing stuff down, and it really kind of resonates with them. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but seminars are great. I love those. But we can do those hour-long strategy sessions at any time. At
Okay,
any time.
fantastic, fantastic. Well, Brad, we're at the a little over a half hour in. Is there anything we didn't cover we probably think that people tuning in may want to know?
Um, I guess in closing, I would say that action coaches big difference. I mean, there's really two. Um,
Okay.
we're not a consulting firm. We're a coaching firm. I mean, those get mixed. So we consider consulting coaching similar but different. Um, so that's one way that we're different. We're not just going to come in and say, hey, you got to do these three things, and as soon as we do those three things, you're going to be fixed. Thanks for the check. Have a nice day. We're there for the long term. We're really there to help and push and guide. It's not even just about the business. Truly, I mean, we're not life coaches, but there's a component of that just cause you're dealing with a human being in a business. There's going to be some personal goals wrapped up in those business goals. The other thing, and this is kind of the main one. We've been doing this since 1993. We're in 80 countries. A couple thousand coaches, maybe as many as 3,000 now, uh, all over the world. We're doing this. So when someone says, "Oh, hey, Brad, oh my goodness, I've been to 17 networking events, and every networking event, there's 15 more business coaches," and I kind of laugh and I say, "Yeah, you're right." But the difference is, a lot of times it's just some guy, right? Some guy is like, "I'm a business coach. I know stuff." The true magic of Action Coach is, of course, the history. But let's say I have a client that I'm trying to think of an example. Like I don't know, they make. I'm looking at my desk. they make colored pencils or something, right? Like um, I personally know nothing about that. I
Right.
know how they work. I know how to draw. But I have no idea how the manufacturing of pencils. I know absolutely nothing about it. We have a closed group. It's simple. It's just a Facebook group. We have a closed private group where all the time a coach will go in there and say, "Hey, I've been doing this for 15 years, but I've never dealt with X. Who out there has dealt with X?" And all these coaches, because we're all helpful, all these coaches just start jumping in and helping. Oh, hey, I had a client a couple years ago and who's in the same industry, and we did this, and this, and it worked. So that's kind of that's kind of the big difference. We've got a long track history. We've got thousands of coaches who can help each other, and we're not a consulting firm. Those are the big
Gotcha.
things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, it's not just you; it's a resource with an outfit that's international. That brings sounds like and brings looks sounds like near 30 years of experience.
Yep,
Uh,
that's really where it's at. Is that
excellent,
experience?
excellent. Well, Brad, this has been great. And again, for those tuning in today, if you have questions for Brad, put them in the comment section. We'll definitely relay those over. And additionally, to Brad's contact info, both to the BNI chapter and LinkedIn profile, are also on the description too today. So if you have any questions, reach out. Brad, I appreciate you being on today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was
And
excellent, Don.
cheers to you.
Cheers
And
to you.
look forward to having you on in the future, and we'll catch up a little later this week. So
Very
thanks
good.
everyone for tuning in to today's Coffee with Cramer. And if you have any questions about, let's say, Brad or any of the other people that we interview and about community information, lifestyle, or real estate here in As my good friend John Curtis likes to say, our humble little burg of Las Vegas. Please feel free to reach out. We're here for you. So again, on behalf of the Cramer Group at Urban Nest Realty, we hope you have a wonderful day. Till next time, take care. Bye-bye.